You're watching the Eternal Tournament Series.
Welcome back, everybody. This is round 3 of week 4. Got confirmation of the Eternal Tournament Series. Thank you, everybody, for staying with us and tuning in and joining us on this magical adventure down Magic Land territory. I am Mark, aka Chibikawaii, and with me I have Gabe, aka Calimdir, in the booth with me. Gabe, how you doing?
I'm doing good, and I'm actually really happy to see both of these decks today. We have Eternal Hans and Elunex going at it, and both these players are 2-0. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, what decks are these? What are we
So
excited to see?
on uh, on Eternal Hans' side, he is doing something that I like to do in an uncertain meta, which is just kill him. You know, anytime you don't know what's happening, there's a new patch, whatever, just kill him. So he's brought Skycrag aggro, slightly different version, a little more Yeti focused, or rather a couple more 2-drops in the Fearless Yeti. No real Yeti synergy, like no common cause or anything like that, but just electing to play Fearless Yeti over perhaps like Crimson Fire Maw or some other cards that you might see. So a little lower to the ground. No obliterates, just playing Mortar instead. Playing both Katana and 4 copies of Shogun Scepter. So this is a very fast version of Skycrag, and I'm a big fan of that. And Elunex is doing something that I thought was going to be really good and was going to potentially go under the radar, which is Stone Scar Gunslinger. So a lot of people thought Argenport was going to be a but I have felt Stone Scar had the tools to deal with it, and now with the buff to Hideout Pistol, I think even more so, because now it's much easier to kill Tavrod, and that's what Elunex is trying to take advantage of as we get into game 1 here.
Yeah, and so not missing much. Elunex turn 1 just went ahead and played a banner and into a fire sigil into a quarry. I missed what was grabbed off the quarry, but Bandit was binned. Turn 1, we just saw Diplo, or excuse me, we saw Waystone into Onironin into a just a diplomatic seal for a primal source into 2 more units for Eternal Hans. Elunex going to go ahead and drop down a 4-3 champion of chaos on their turn after playing another power. Lunix, no more power in hand, needs to get a few, but should be operating decently. We're going to see an A space from Eternal Hans. They're missing out on some power, just taking whatever trades they can get. Champion of Chaos jumps in front of an Oni Ronin, and Lunix just keeps passing the turn back. Eternal Hans now probably going to have to pause a little bit.
Yeah, gonna have to consider here. I think Cinder Yeti makes this attack really good and put behind. Generally in aggro matchups in Eternal, as long as there's no lifesteal involved, the faster aggro deck has an advantage. Skycrag definitely has the advantage, I think, in this matchup. The key card for Lunix is Vicious Highwayman, because that can turn the race around really quickly. And he's got 2. So if he gets this 4 Shadow Sigil, if he draws an undepleted Shadow Source off the top, he can turn this game around very, very quickly.
Yes, very quickly, and we're seeing the Argenport instigator nerfs have a pretty big effect currently, given that they're both stuck in Lunix's hand without that second shadow source. Now, granted, this Vara's favor off the tops for Lunix gonna give that second shadow source, and we should be able to see at least one of these Argenport instigators come down to provide another blocker.
But now there's no target for the Vicious Highwayman to gain life. So he's got to
Yes.
find another way to kill the unit.
Yeah, and I would have. I think I actually would have preferred popping the Aegis on the Vadius with that. But I also understand taking 2 more points of damage and going down is not ideal.
Yeah, he's
either.
at 4, so can't afford to do that. And I think Elunex is just dead here.
Yeah, this Fearless Yeti getting all the war cries, being a 7-5 overwhelm seems difficult to deal with.
That's going to be game for Elunex. He can
not yet. We can.
There is overwhelm.
No,
so
and
there's an instigator on the field. But
it's the whole 1 power toughness. All right, well, congratulations to Eternal Hans taking that one down over Elunex.
But let's take a look at the sideboard for Elunex. So for Elunex, since Elunex is the one who really needs to make some changes, 3 Dark Return, 4 copies of both Ruin, Sabotage, and Rapid Shot. Not a lot that I really want to see in this matchup.
No.
In fact, I don't think I want to see any of this. I would have liked to have seen
I
maybe some anti-aggro stuff.
yeah.
I think 4 runes is probably 4 runes and 4 sabotage is probably overkill.
And I would actually swap. I would consider swapping out the Soulfire Drakes for the Dark Returns because a Dark Return being able to get back an Instigator like on turn 3 just to get some more units in
Or
play
get back a
might do some
highwayman
stuff.
for more life steal.
Yeah, well, our players are underway here, so let's just jump right back into that game. Just some power has been played. There was a turn 1 Snowcrest Yeti from Eternal, a Lunix just playing out a seat into a crest and able to finally play the Rakano Outlaw. We are going to see the attack from Snowcrest Yeti. Pummel coming in, no blocks, so purely just using this as 2 shocks in a row. Getting to scout here a little bit. The Snowcrest Yeti gonna get in for 6, dropping Elunex down to 19. I don't know how I feel about it, but I guess when you got 3 pummels, you just fire them off as much as you can.
Yeah, and it's just extra damage. I was gonna say Pummel was the only card I was really looking at in Eternal Hansa sideboard that really seemed appealing to me. Just because this is a matchup where there's going to be a lot of blocking, a lot of
Mhm.
unit combat,
Yeah.
and it's just a bit faster than something else perhaps.
Yeah, so now we're going to have the option of going with Cinder Yeti or holding up Pummel and playing Ornate Katana or Shogun Sceptering. Looks like the play is going to be the Cinder Yeti exhausting the Champion of Chaos. I don't know that I like that line as much as a couple of the other lines that were available because that trade seems like something that's just going to happen, and that's exactly what we see. Elunex going to go ahead and attack in with his 5/3 Champion of Chaos, trying to put the pressure on as much as they can. However, this overwhelm on the Cinder Yeti is going to do some big work because they're going to be able to attack in and then still hold up Pummel. So this is not even going to be a trade. We're going to see 5 damage come through on Elunex. Elunex is going to drop down to 14 here.
Yeah, this is definitely looking better for Linux than it did last game, but this is still rough. Now he actually can trade with everything. Okay, wow, that's an aggressive line. So that puts
Yes.
Eternal Hans to 10, which makes attacking very difficult here. If Linux has even 2 damage in his hand, that is lethal. But
Wow.
this Vadius having Aegis makes it very difficult to get
Yeah.
through, and only the Champion of Chaos can get through for damage. If you look at Lunix's deck, he doesn't have any obliterates.
Yeah, and Hans just calling that bluff, swinging in, getting a Lunix down to 9. A Lunix just going to go ahead and play Vicious Highwayman and then swing out. Hans going down to 1.
Yeah, I think Lunix has got this one. I think he took the right line. It was a really, really risky play, but he just out barely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we're going to see that Shogun Scepter equipped to the Cinder Yeti. Cinder Yeti going to attack in, putting the Lunix down to 2, going to play out 2 units, but that's not going to be enough thanks to that Deadly and Overwhelm on that Champion of Chaos. A Lunix going to take this one down. Man, these
Now we're
matches are going
1-1.
quick.
Yeah, these are fast matches, and so we didn't because they're so fast. There's a couple things we didn't get to talk about. Namely, Lunix's deck is probably way different than you're imagining when you see a Stone Star deck. There's no obliterates, no 1-drops either, outside of something like Torch. I don't really consider a 1-drop. So just really interesting take on the deck. It's much more value unit oriented, just card quality oriented. And the other thing I was going to mention, 4 copies of Jack Hunted Fugitive deck, which is super interesting.
That is.
And both of these decks, I think, are a symptom of or a reaction to the Ardent Instigator, Achan saying, no more Stone Scar, let's just play Skycrag, and Elunex saying, well, let's go a little bigger, let's get some crests in there.
Yeah. And our players are underway, so I'm just going to recap the game really quickly. There was a crest from Elunex on turn 1, and I believe it was the card was bottomed. I did not entirely catch that, but based on the draw, that's what it seems like. Eternal Hans was able to play a Diplo Seal on turn 1, playing out that Pyro Knight, and then turn 2 was able to play the Skycrag Banner, turning that on and playing the Rakano Outlaw, which then led to the 4/2 Champion of Fury and Crest being played the next turn for
So
Eternal Hans.
I think we're about to see a very, very short game, a very short
Yes.
victory for Eternal Hans. Elunex just didn't have any undepleted power to play in the first couple turns, and just wasn't able to do anything here
Yep.
until way too late. And now just Ornate Katana can come down on an overwhelm unit, Mortar on the top of the deck to finish it off. There's just no outs for Elunex here.
Yeah. And is this a turn 4 win?
Yes.
Yes. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is why you play Skycrag
Skycrag.
on ladder. Because even if you lose, you're losing in 2 minutes. Congratulations
In time for
to
pizza.
Hans. Yeah. It well, I imagine we might have a backup. All right. So yeah,
But while we have that setting up, yeah, I just wanted to talk about decks for another moment. I think both of these decks are good against Argenport, which they seem to think is the boogeyman of the format currently, because there was just nothing was nerfed in it patch, and it even got access to potentially deck as a sideboard card. But Skycrack can absolutely just run over Argenport. Outside of getting a really early, I mean, even then, if you get an early Unseen Commando, it still might not be enough. As we saw there, that game was over way before Unseen Commando would have been relevant. And then Stone Scar deck, I think, just has enough. Like, Champion of Chaos matches up very, very well against Tavrod. Usually by the time Tavrod is relevant, you've already done too much damage and you can't block Tavrod, or you can't block Champion of Chaos with Tavrod. So I think both are good answers to a potentially Argenport filled meta. I just think Elunex's take on Star is a little.
Yeah.
I think the Jack Hunted Fugitive are maybe reaching a little bit. He has common cost in the deck, so he's really going Gunslinger synergy. I think Hideout Pistol is good, but I don't think it's so good that you can play cards like Jack and Cabal Countess. I think those cards are still a little too weak. I would have liked to have seen Obliterates and some 1-drops, perhaps. And for a more traditional Stone Scar deck, and just use the Gunslingers you already have, Highwayman, Bandit Queen, Instigator, Rakano Outlaw, and try and win like that.
Okay, so it looks like so we do have our backup and we're in game. Gabe, that was an excellent breakdown. I really appreciate that breakdown. Thank you. Thank you very much. But it looks like so we have Muxosk versus SecondBlue. Muxosk is on Justice Primal Shadow Mocto. SecondBlue on Combre. We've got a 5/6 Silent Sandstorm Titan swinging in from SecondBlue, dropping Muxosk to 15. And we see a Thunderstrike Dragon in play from Muxosk. Gonna get blocked by a Scorpion Wasp. However, we're gonna see an Annihilate come down from Muxosk, taking out that Scorpion Wasp, leaving the Thunderstrike Dragon blocked, but no damage getting through. So good game there. Curious to see if we're going to see the Slay. We do see the Slay come down on Sandstorm Titan, and I think it's just going to be a ship of the turn back to SecondBlue. And we see Valkyrie Enforcer drawn for Musk after SecondBlue just shipping the turn back. SecondBlue seemingly having some power issues given that they are on 4, now 5 versus Muxosk's 8. Muxosk, though, does have 2 Thunderstrike Dragons in hand and was able to get 5 points of damage through last turn, putting SecondBlue down to 20. SecondBlue now taking 10 from the 2 Dragons, dropping SecondBlue down to 10. And Shelter Wing Rider coming out for Muxosk there. And then we have SecondBlue going to be playing potentially some units here.
Yes, I'm here. Yeah, so I'm just going to talk about how much I'm excited to see JPS control. But this particular matchup looks pretty locked up for Muxosk. I'm having more trouble with that name than you are, to be honest. But Black Sky Harbinger, Black Sky Harbinger going up to 4, I thought could be an interesting opportunity to bring back Justice Primal Control, which is a deck that a lot of people have messed around with in the past, including myself.
Yeah.
We have some stuff going on behind the scenes. SecondBlue is setting some stuff up.
Yeah, and
That's why we're pausing here.
we do see SecondBlue's hand now, and that's exactly it. SecondBlue is just looks like stuck on power. I'm seeing 2 more Reality Wardens in hand, a Predatory Carnosaur, 3 Mystic Ascendants, and a Vanquish.
No harsh rule, so he's dead.
Yeah. This Vanquish is going to be able to answer one of the 5/6s, but that doesn't do it. And I think we're going to see Muxosk take this down.
So was this match 1-1 or was we at 1-0 or?
So I believe. Yeah, so
okay.
Muxosk was up
That's
one
gonna
game.
Be Muxosk taking it 2-0 over SecondBlue. SecondBlue on a pretty traditional Combray list. I'm not sure about the Reality Wardens. Maybe the reaction to the popularity of Reanimator. I like the sort of ramp element he had going there into cards like Predatory Carnosaur. With Tavrod and all the new cards that have come out and how much more powerful decks have become, Combray has fallen a little bit out of favor. So I definitely like the addition of Carnosaur to sort of up the power level of the top end of Combray. But JPS Control gonna take that. And this was a really interesting JPS list. I want to see more of it because it's got Nostrix and Shelterwing Rider in addition to Mokdo and Harbinger.
It seemed really interesting.
A lot of difficult to deal with flying threats. And then in the board, Thunderstrike Dragon. So that's just it's actually feels very similar to what Combray's game plan is, which is just mostly controlling the board with cards like Valkyrie Enforcer and Vanquish and Harsh Rule, and then playing units that either require 2 answers or get a lot of value while they're on the board. But it seems like, I guess for that match, JPS Control had the better answers.
Yeah, well, and congratulations to Muxosk again for pulling that down. I don't believe we're going to have another backup match. Yeah, so it looks like we're going to be cutting over to another deck tech here. This is fantastic timing because my pizza alarm just went off. And if you don't have a pizza alarm, get one, Gabe. It's a beautiful thing. So with that, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back very soon, everybody. So stay tuned. Thank you again for tuning in, and we'll see you soon.